We're going to be asking the questions to play. So, interest of the racing have been worldwide from a long time. To be achieving to the understanding what the racing means, you need a good team. The teamwork have been increased. In a time when it was an engineer in a backyard car itself was the great day, but unfortunately time have changed. The sign of the times is the more money and the more publicity, exception with the media, and it's a more now the gain increase and importance when it case. A lot of different sports and different competition events have been come and gone just to be served. Lack of the interest of the different sport varieties have. The races between towns have been almost completely eradicated in the world of the motorsport. Also, the motorsport indeed itself does. What the motorsport is all about? The motorsport is all about, of course, the racing itself. The main racing when the cars, but it's more in these days also the business. The business of the media, television, coverage to set the cars in the racing tracks are achieved as possible quick speed and as much as there is a competition. A lot of excitement and exceptionally the races are expected to win. And this meaning that to making ensuring the television viewership as high as possible that all of this sport are trying to regulate, making sure the competition as close as possible. Otherwise, the racing will be very few competition, and they will be just going in circles. It is one of those wearing words of the going to this motorsport, just telling and saying to claiming, reclaiming to be to go in circles, because in some cars. And usually all the driving is just going to around the same circle times over, like in some motorsports, like in athletics, in the tracks. In a motor racing track, and of course, it's meaning that all these tracks varies. There is almost none of the same similar tracks in the world, so all the venues are always in the circuits, the different given days. So when the championship have been ended, it is of course to the end of the season usually means that praise the one driver happy achieved a victory, and all the rest have been just to be disappointed not to be willing to win the championship. The driver who has usually achieved the championship this season are to given the status of the champions of the sport. Some occasion it can be trophy or something money prize. If it might be in some small circuit that it gain attention and keep publicity. If you're becoming winner of the sum, you can expect yourself to be looking after somebody's skill searching. And this is very important to the drivers, whether they so hardly try to themselves making noticeable that somebody might be found out their talent, which they have been achieving some victory in some sport. And in some day, they might be achieving to get to some better teams, and maybe to some other things. The racing driver, what is needed is one of the things is a psychology. To become a winner, the racing drivers need very tough head, and with a good head, the driver aren't going anywhere. And one of the things making sure the psychology of the test is understood of all the forces and things needed. To begin, you don't just only to become good racing drivers these days, which just only having a good ability to go quickly in just a racing track itself. You pretty much need to itself to input plenty of the effort to a lot of other things. The team management. One of the things it is when it's a team education, understanding the feedback of the data to the team to the next time. To able to further development team and car and just the next one thing it. And this is a base of feedback analyzing telemetry. Just able to tell it to the engineers and then needed to new operates exceptionally to the development of the cars. That is of course many times to the test drivers one of the job, but it's pretty important any driver to understand what the car does. So to go into racing track itself the car, to understanding that the first, depending on the case, security and safety is the one of the issues. We put using overalls, helmets, and something other things. In addition to clothes, there is all are the special, all are the fireproof and able therefore able to withstand and hold the fire which is might be endanger the life if it would be risky to spread all over. This meaning the race drivers should be always wearing the latest and the most developed technologies and these synthetic chemicals have been created plenty of the invention. To put in common use in this case, you wear the helmets. Helmets have a visor and a lot of other things to make sure it is as easy as possible to use and wear. And to become this using a trace and the tracer drivers who make a course and we are in the trace years. A lot of different helmets, a lot of different other things. The drivers these days are pretty much to put in around to the computers. Computers are telling a lot of the fact how the driver are doing in a race track itself. And when the driver are achieving and getting closer, he should be asked a lot of questions. And therefore the driver is verified expected he could be also answer plenty of the issues rebounding around to the car's performance and therefore the things. So now we're going in the cars itself. We put it back or adjust safety belts, the drivers, and then the switch to open to the engine of the cars. The switching to the power up to the car is of course one of the most easiest tasks the racer driver can himself doing, but all the rest of the racing car is very physical effort nevertheless, because the racing car in the corners, the huge G-forces definitely are always pushing all three of the muscles against the other side of the car of the opposition force, and therefore the racer driver himself are always around a lot the stresses. To drive it to help all the pressure what is given. You have to be do plenty of things a lot in one time, and you have a simple place to an error. Jeez.